We're back for another book-related painting. This one is going to be about a Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, and we're going to be featuring Mr. Mosscap from it. I'm not going to be doing a super detailed book review during this video. I will be putting up on the screen some quotes that I did enjoy from the book, but will just suffice to say that this was just a super cozy, enjoyable, quick read, and it was just the pick-me-up I needed for my painting practice. For my underpainting, I'm just quickly blocking in the colors that I think I'm going to be using for my robot, and I'm roughly blocking in where I think the trees in our forest are gonna go. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna have a lot of limbs at this point. I'm not sure how much foliage I'm gonna have in the back, if any of the sky is gonna peek through. I'm just trying to cover the canvas. I decided I needed some color, so I'm going to create a little bit of a glow around him. And of course, I need some sort of rainbow, because why not? And now you can see I am lightening up the robot figure bit by bit, and I am adding detail to his hands in bits and bobs. I find it really satisfying going in and tightening up these little hands and adding my highlights and shadows. It was, for some reason, a lot more fun than human hands, even though it's basically the same concept. At this point, I'm going back in to play with the trees a little bit. I'm pretty happy with how Mosscap is looking, but I want to add some bark texture into the trees, and I do like this concept, and I will fiddle with it a bit more, but I do like it, and I do keep coming back to fix it and just get it right. And now you'll also see that I have fully committed to adding a sky in. And now we're trying to figure out what kind of blue I'm going to use and where it is going to mix in with the trees and foliage that are going to be in the woods. And this is when I start getting really unconfident with my leaves, but I am not willing to let go of how I'm rendering them at this point. Is a little bit more detail in the bark, trying to add some darker bits to make it a little more textured. And I do really like how this turned out, and it was really fun to paint, and I definitely want to play around with trees more and more. Of course, I thought these highlights to the leaves would help, but they didn't. And here we're committing to me really going off the rails. And now I'm covering up all the work I've done on the trees because I decided I want them slightly lighter color. And you're going to see me really overcommit to the glow around Mosscap. And I'm going to have to erase all of that. And then I finally just acknowledge the leaves are not working, and you see me erasing those as well. And now we're getting ready to get back on track. You'll see me slowly building back up everything that I sanded off and starting to add back in all of the texture that I really enjoyed the first go around, but I just couldn't salvage it behind the leaves and the glow. So it was just going to ultimately be quicker to mess up everything that I did and kind of start over. But I will say it definitely paid off. I enjoyed my blobby, I guess we'll use that word, leaves so much better than I did the individual leaves. And I was able to slowly work the glow into the bark of the tree instead of having it be quite as uniform going around. And I really enjoy that as well. The main bummer of having to go backwards for this so much was I had to completely redo my layer on Mosscap because I had done so many color washes trying to unify the tone before I started over that he just got so washed out. I had to make him stand out again, which I ended up going a little darker than I originally went and slightly changed the tones to match with the new trees a lot better. And luckily it ended up working out. Here we have a little bit of a filming oopsie where I somehow focused on me instead of the painting. But luckily you can still see a decent amount of the progress. that I was making on the, I guess we'll call it rib cage area. Here's me actually working the glow into the bark. I know I mentioned that earlier. And then you'll also see I had my glow introduced into the leaves as well, but it looks a little awkward at this phase. As you can see, I did a little bit of work off camera on the cloud, or not the clouds, on the leaves. And here we are finishing them up and adding my, I believe what will be my final shadows. And then now we're in the final details of the grass and whatnot. I think I do a couple more things off camera, but this is the real meat and bones of everything being finished up. You can see I'm adding a little bit more blue glow in to some of his robot nooks and crannies. But yeah, I had so much fun with this little piece, and I hope you enjoyed hanging around as well.